Welcome back to Business Owners Speak. Today, I am thrilled to have with us Tiffany Edwards with Edwards Consulting Group, or ECG. Tiffany, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I am great, thank you. If you could, like we do with everyone, tell us a little bit about you and the business.
A little bit about me. My name is Tiffany Edwards. We started Edwards Consulting Group, my husband and I, about 5 years ago. And what we do is human resources consulting, kind of like with a social change twist, whereas we work on workforce development, not just staffing, training. We're more of a total person. Talk to people, tell them how you want things to be done, and honestly, they'll do it. So we got started, yeah, just about 5 years ago out of San Antonio. When we were working in corporate America.
So, the HR world um, comes with a lot of opinions, right, from all sides.
It
Uh,
does.
were you both in HR roles in the corporate world?
Yeah, we actually were both. We've worked together for quite a while because we met when we were in the military. And our last company in San Antonio, we did work at together. I worked in the HR area, and my husband was in HR, if you will, but talent acquisition. So, as you probably know yourself, talent acquisition is completely different from general human resources and all the payroll and different functions that go within that.
No doubt. All right. And so did you two kind of get tired of corporate America, or you just started thinking, we can probably do this on our own? What led to the decision to, leave some structure and start your own business?
Honestly, I always thought that I wanted to do something a little bit differently, and my husband as well. And it was more so corporate America is kind of a dog eat dog world, but not to knock it because it taught me some great things. But being your own boss, there's just really nothing like it. And there are certain things that when you're at a certain level in an organization, no matter how hard you try, you just aren't able to change them. And I wanted to be the change, and the best way to do that was to branch off on my own.
Right. All right. And so you thought, let's put together a suite of services that our skill set can provide. Has the business changed at all in terms of what kind of services you provide since you started?
It has, because we do obviously a lot of general HR services, but we have kind of tried to silo into training and workforce development because we realize that if you don't train, skill people up, and just talk to them, coach them, and do things of that nature, then it's really hard to keep your business flowing. And those are pretty much the main issues that we see because everybody can do HR until you can't, right? And you don't need HR until you're in trouble. So it has become more of a, you know what? How do we keep people out of trouble? Well, we
Exactly.
train them.
That's exactly what I used to tell people when I worked for a publicly traded company, and that's why I used HR as much as I could, keep me out of trouble. Uh, so that's a good way to put it. All right. So in terms of industries that you support, is there a niche that you kind of utilize, or are you supporting businesses in all industries?
So I actually studied nurse retention as it relates to onboarding and Texas hospital nurses. So we are really big in the healthcare space, and we came from a healthcare company previously where we hired neurophysiologists, doctors, nurses. So we like to stick in that area. However, we have had clients who are in the energy space, IT, and different arenas. It's just that we don't do things that we don't know how to do. So if we're staffing for you, we're going to learn the job that we're staffing for, not just what it says on the paper, because it's easy to read a piece of paper and anybody can put things on there. But do you really know if someone's lying to you when you ask them the questions as a recruiter? Not if you don't know how to do that job, you don't.
Right.
And I can't go do the job. No, please don't put me in the OR. I'm not going to operate on anybody. I'm not saying that at all. But I can definitely ask the right questions and I'll know if the answer is right or not. And if I don't know, then I know someone who's looking for the person that I'm looking for and they can answer that question for me.
Sure. All right. So the services, so talent acquisition, so you do placement.
Yes.
Is that like an a la carte standalone service? If somebody wanted to hire you just to fill a position, you guys do that?
Yeah, everything we do is pretty much a la carte because we are boutique. So if someone wanted to hire us just to fill a position, then yeah, we would definitely be able to do that for them.
Okay. And then explain workforce development, if you could.
Yeah, definitely. I love workforce development because, I mean, obviously we're in the workforce, right? We're talking right now about work. So it's really training all of your employees, making sure you have strategically aligned where you are now and start forecasting that for the future. Because a lot of times I feel like HR isn't included in that conversation. Well, they're there maybe as kind of the secretary or note taker, but they're never the quarterback or the point guard or the team captain. And to be honest, they have all the data on the employees. We know how far people live. We know how much people make. We know what the industry standard is. I know their education. So why not use HR for that? Because strategically, HR is your partner. And to be honest, if you call them right before you're in trouble, it's because you know they're your partner. So give them that respect.
So you have, all right, well, I want a scenario based. If I own a company and I come to you and I say, Tiffany, I want you to do soup to nuts, all of my hiring, not management of employees, meaning they come onto your entity. They still my employees, but do you handle the hiring, firing, write-ups, performance counseling, performance evaluations, training, et cetera, all of that?
I would say yes, yes, yes. I don't know how many things you said, but all of those are a green check mark. So
Okay.
yeah, we would come in and to be honest, we're not here to replace your human resources department by any means. And if you only have a company of five, we'll definitely help your office manager or whoever that may be that you have in that area that needs some help. But we don't want to replace the people that you have. We want to add to their knowledge and to be honest, you can learn something from everybody. I learned something from everyone that I talk to. And I know as soon as I go back and rewatch this, I'm like, man, I didn't know that.
You might learn something from yourself on this
I,
call.
I might. Definitely you.
Uh, all right. So, I'm sure you see some horror stories within inside some businesses that are not kind of handling their people the right way or creating the right environment, for their employees to be successful. What are some of the mistakes you see business owners make in terms of managing people and just the overall environment of the operation?
I think one of the biggest mistakes I see is that managers they toss money at things. I can't say managers. It starts at the top, right? So the people at the top toss money at things like training, development, and executive coaching for their leaders, but they don't actually go through it themselves. And people aren't robots, and you can't expect somebody to be the change that you want them to be if you're not going to do that yourself, because it starts from within. So the biggest thing that I would say we see is people just they talk a good game, but they don't practice what they preach.
Yep. They don't eat their own cooking.
No,
That's
that's I'm going to use that just so you know. No,
all you. There you go. You learned something.
I did.
The whole fractional world is it's interesting how business is changing with a lot of fractional marketing companies and fractional accounting and CPA worlds where you can work with multiple companies on a discipline within the company that is required. Do you think just industry in general that's a direction more businesses are going? And if so, why is it? Why is it better to kind of outsource than to have your own, or why is it better to have a complement to your own team?
I would say one good reason is the big L word, which is liability. They're not your employees. So, I mean, if you don't want to work with them anymore and you don't think they're doing a great job, you can cut them. If anything happens, it's really not your responsibility the same way it is as if you're paying benefits for somebody, because a lot more goes into having an employee than just saying, oh, here's your salary, because hey, they might need to be on FMLA for whatever reason. And please, by all means, if you qualify, let them be on it and make sure they're not abusing it, but don't stalk them and wonder every single doctor's appointment that they're going to, because that's extremely uncomfortable.
Very true. All right, so 5 years in ish,
Yeah.
what's been the biggest challenge so far about being a business owner?
I would say the biggest challenge is I don't get paid every 2 weeks. And you don't know what you don't know. So you have to learn a lot of things. Like you didn't start your business for your friends. Otherwise, you'd all be on vacation together. And you wouldn't be posting so much on social media trying to get other people to use the services that your very network doesn't use. So it's kind of just, it's a learning curve. I learned a lot through that, and I'm grateful for all of those experiences.
Yeah. And what's the best part?
I would say the best part is I work for myself. I get to wake up every day. I'm happy. I'm excited to go to work. My basic needs are met because when I was studying retention in nurses, it's kind of like, Maslow's hierarchy of needs. If your basic needs aren't met, like if you feel like you're being lied to or anything like that in the workplace or family, you don't want to be there anymore. I mean, think about it. There wouldn't be so many divorces. There wouldn't be so many people quitting their jobs. There things wouldn't be the way that they are if people's basic needs were met, if they felt like they were. And obviously, like I said before, that starts from within.
Yeah, interesting. Do you find yourself up against a lot of competition in your space? A lot of companies that are doing what you're doing?
Yeah, I would say yes and no, because like I said before, I feel like everybody thinks that they can do HR. And without naming competitors, there are people out there that say, hey, we can do this for you for $100 a month, and you're going to get this complete suite of HR services. And I welcome everyone to go try it out. And if it works for you, great. If it doesn't, I mean, reach
Yeah,
out to me because
I'll talk to you in a couple of months.
I can help you after that. Yeah. I would say our company is a little bit different, whereas we're headed by myself. I have a doctorate in business focused in HR, and I actually worked in the federal government. I actually worked at the Air Force Personnel Center. So I was in the military. I did military HR. I am federally HR certified, and I do have an SPHR and a Lean Six Sigma black belt. Whereas a lot of companies, the person at the top, they don't necessarily even know how to do the job that they're selling other people to do. So if there is a fire, they're probably not going to be able to put it out for you.
Right.
So I guess that's kind of where we differ.
Okay. Very good. And so as someone that's a business owner but working in their business still, how do you and your husband kind of divide up duties? And do you have other team members?
Yeah, we have other team members. I prefer to keep them 1099 for now. But
Understood.
but we do have other team members. We are going to scale and grow pretty soon here. My husband, he focuses more so on the talent acquisition side, and he's teaching me how to talk to people, if you will, because it's an art. But when he does it, I'm like, wow, that really looked like a conversation. I'm really nervous. Please don't watch me right now. Whereas I'm more of general HR. My last job, I ran payroll for, I don't know, it was 13 entities in maybe 20 plus states, biweekly, semi-monthly. There's a lot that goes into general human resources. I'm big on executive coaching and the training aspect of our business.
Right. And you mentioned growth. Looking forward, we always want to look forward in our businesses. What's on the horizon for the company?
On the horizon, we are wanting to get some more training out there. So we're trying to bring some people on where they can learn directly under me and go out and actually train and coach people, but are actually certified HR professionals. And as far as talent acquisition goes, well, that speaks for itself. As long as the jobs open up, if you need help, we're here to help you.
Yeah, no doubt. So your husband gets to review resumes all day long and do interviews all day long. Sounds like a big part of it.
You said it when you said it, it sounded way harder than it looks when he's doing it. I was like, what are you doing anything right now? But yeah.
And it's
I
hard.
was like, oh, okay.
We've all had hard hiring challenges. Wow, managing people can be one of the most rewarding things in the world and one of the most difficult all at the exact same time. So
Exactly.
God bless you for the support you're providing other small business owners, because I'm sure you do a lot of things that they want to take off of their plate. So
Hmm.
certainly needed resources with all the business owners we talk to. All right, so you've gotten to 5 years ish. That's great, and that's a big hurdle.
It
So
is.
congratulations for doing that.
Thank you.
There's a lot of other people out there who are in year one and things aren't looking good, or they have a good, secure, stable job, but they have that itch to go kind of do something on their own and create something on their own. What's some advice you would give for somebody in one of those two positions?
I would say in whatever position you're in, you have to start by starting because you don't know what you don't know, and you'll never know until you know. I know that was a lot of the same word, but I think it made sense. You just
It
don't
did.
know what you don't know, and you'll never know that until you try. So hard work is no guarantee for success, but without it, we're guaranteed to fail. So
Yeah.
fail forward, as my friend Jake Brown would say. Do that.
You're just rolling with them. I love it. The starting. Is that what you said? Start starting.
Start by starting. I
Start by
think Meryl
starting.
Streep, I don't know. I look at different quotes every day. I just like kind of flip it over and I'm like, wow, this, I don't know how, but this is the one for today. And it
That's
always
really good.
applies.
And it's so true. We always say you can't steer a parked car, right? So until you
That'd
take
be
that
tough.
first step, like let's go, let's make some decisions, and that's something we work with business owners a lot on, um, overcoming the overthinking and the fear of just making a decision and taking a step, because you got to figure it out from there anyway, right?
You're
So
your own worst critic. I mean, nobody's judging you harder than you're judging yourself. Trust me, they're not thinking about you.
are you so thinking about putting more training and bulking up that side of the business? Are there other areas that down the road you may want to branch into, or do you think you're sticking to what you're good at?
Training and getting out into, honestly, I was a teacher, so public speaking to different hospitals and educational facilities and things like that is something I would love because I don't know, when I get up there, I'm a whole nother person. I feel like I'm quiet until, oh, it's time for me to talk. Let me go ahead and get this whole thing rocking and rolling. I got some dry humor jokes for you. No.
Yes, you do. I think there might be a future there in some stand up.
It'll have to be off the cuff because I'm really bad at preparing for interviews, even though, yeah, I'm like, what'll I say? I don't know. I'll figure it out when they get on there. They'll smile at me.
You did great today. And so,
Thank you.
well done. Well, Tiffany Edwards, really enjoyed having you on. Edwards Consulting Group, or ECG. Check the graphics for their information and their social media sites. And Tiffany, thank you so much. Best of luck in the future to you. And I'm sure we're going to see big things out of you.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure being on.
Yeah.